Breaking right now, Prince Harry has given a new interview, and yet again it's filled with lies because he's trying to convince Us Weekly, the trashy celebrity magazine, that all is fine in the marriage to Meghan Markle. Oh, I didn't send her home from the Invictus Games. Oh, I wasn't furious about the fact that she's posting our children all over social media the moment my back is turned. And how cringeworthy anyway that this guy who is in the line of succession, who was once one of the most important members of the British royal family, is now pimping himself out to the trashiest celebrity magazine on the market. Prince Harry shares special memory with Meghan Markle from Prince Archie. This just shows you how much this guy has fallen. Like, this is not even something that actually B-list celebrities do anymore in interview with Us Weekly. You just don't need to. But let me take you through it before we get to Angela Levin, Prince Harry's biographer, who has spent a lot of time with Prince Harry. The article reads, Prince Harry is looking back on a sweet memory with Meghan Markle when she was pregnant with their first child, Prince Archie. Every Invictus Games creates incredible experiences and holds special memories for everyone involved, the Duke of Sussex exclusively told Us Weekly during the semi-final volleyball game between Team UK and Team Nigeria at the Invictus Games earlier this month. My wife has been part of this community since shortly after the Orlando Games in 2016 and has loved every minute of it. The magazine says for this year's Games, Meghan was by Harry's side for a few events in Vancouver before she returned home. Translation was booted out because of the bad publicity to Archie and Lilibet. While Meghan couldn't be present for the entirety of the game, she showed her support for her husband via her newly launched social media page. And Harry told Us Weekly the Instagram shout out was very sweet and much appreciated. Angela, this is cringe in so many ways. It's like, look, okay, there were lots of lies in the Oprah Winfrey interview, but at least it was Oprah. At least it was watched by millions of people 5 years on, and he's having to pimp himself out to trashy celebrity magazines, trying to convince us that he was happy that Meghan broke everything that he had begged of her to pimp out her children in order to promote her product. I found this new interview so shocking. What did you think?
Right, folks, this is bad. Prince Harry just gave an exclusive interview to US Weekly, a celebrity tabloid that no actual A-listers take seriously. I mean, how far has this guy fallen? So let's break this down. Harry is out here doing PR for Meghan, rambling about how great she is and pretending that everything is fine in their marriage. Meanwhile, Meghan is nowhere to be seen. Harry says, "Oh, Meghan couldn't be at the Invictus Games the whole time, but she supported me from home." Yeah, sure. Or maybe she just didn't want to be there.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're absolutely right, aren't you? But I think this is the sign of that the two of them are absolutely at bottom, and she has to get people to like her very, very quickly. So Harry had to run around and say how wonderful she is. And when he says it at Instagram that she was very sweet and much appreciated, you can't believe it because he spent years trying to warn people of all ages, but especially teenagers, have nothing to do with social media. So now he's praising Meghan for her. It's just really beyond hypocrisy, isn't it, for both of them? But I think this shows that they're very scared, particularly Meghan, because she's not got much to offer to her at the moment. And she's got to be sweet and nice. I think that's why she's dancing. And that's why she's saying, "Oh, this is fun, everybody will love it. It's so nice." No, she's trying to be Miss Nice. And actually she fails very badly because she isn't. And she'd be much better if she was herself and just got on with things. But to try and, she's forcing her husband, she's forcing the PRs, she's forcing everywhere that people do say how wonderful she is. Any friend she can get have to find a newspaper or a TV station and say that she's so lovely, she's gorgeous, she's wonderful. She is pretty, I'll give her that. But underneath that skin, she's really, really nasty. And I think so anyway. And but it's a waste of time. I mean, to bang on and on and on about how wonderful you are, to get your husband to do that and everybody else you can, it is horrendous. But I don't feel sorry for Harry for this, because he should just say, I'm not doing that. And, whatever you want to do about yourself, that's fair. But you're not getting me to like the Instagram. I'm just not. And then we'd respect him a little bit. But the fact is that all his work has gone down the drain, and he's pretending. He doesn't even mind, and he does mind. Of course, he minds, but he loves Meghan, and so he absolutely wants to do what she tells him. And we're at a stage as well where he's doing absolutely everything he tells her to do, that we're, can observe. And he's not standing up for himself at all. So he's not going to try and get away. He's just going to stay with her as long as possible, because she can put him round a little finger.
Angela Levin nails it. This whole thing reeks of desperation. This is not the move of a confident man in a strong marriage. This is a guy who is panicking. And let's talk about Meghan for a second, because while Harry is out here doing desperate PR interviews, Meghan is busy selling stuff. She just launched American Riviera Orchard, her luxury lifestyle brand. And guess what? She's spending more time promoting jam than supporting Harry. People are asking, why is she suddenly back on Instagram? Why is she acting like a solo entrepreneur? Is she setting herself up for life after Harry? Because it sure looks like it.
Angela, can we just talk about the strategy behind this too? I mean, think when you were writing your tell-all book on Prince Harry and you secured that access to him, you spent a year following him, you got sit-down interviews with him at the palace. That was really sought after. That was just something that didn't happen. How shocking is it to you that his team are now prepared to just push him forward to sit down with a trashy tabloid journalist for a trashy magazine piece, which is going to make no impact? It's like sign of PR desperation, is it not?
Yeah, but it's not the same PR that he had
No,
before.
no, of course not.
So they were decent and they were excellent. And I got on with him so well, so well. And, we talked for hours. It was really terrific. But now it's a panic, isn't it? It's a panic that Meghan will like him. So everybody has to go into the world of pretense, and just do whatever you can for her, because I think they're frightened that she will scream and shout and be furious if it doesn't work out for her. But I can't understand why she's going on and on about giving people food and jam and all that stuff. But actually, it'd be much better if she tried very hard to do something that was actually helpful, not making silly food that people can get all over the place. And it doesn't mean that she's terrific that she's done that. It means nothing. But she's still trying to be amazing and sort of superb and unbeatable. And most of us, nearly all of us, can see through it, and it's rubbish. And actually, to get your husband to go off and to say how wonderful you are means that he's a sort of husband who will do as he's told by his wife. But also, nobody would believe that, because otherwise they think he'll get home and she'll scream and shout at him if he doesn't do it to the level that she wants. I mean, it's a very silly thing to do. If you go up and ask somebody who actually could make a good judgment, be one thing, but to ask your husband, who desperately doesn't want you to leave him, then it's a silly game.
The thing that I find, I mean, I totally agree with all of that, Angela, of course. And at the end of the day, we know he's very tormented. He knows the marriage is in deep trouble. But yes, he is scared of Meghan. At the same time, I don't give him a pass for that, because he put himself in this situation. But can I just specifically talk to you about Us Weekly, right? Because Harry is such a hypocrite when it comes to the media. He constantly says he's on this campaign against the tabloid media, wants to shut down the British newspapers, wants to shut down reporters. Well, let me just show you. I've just picked one at random, Angela, just one of the old covers from Us Weekly about Prince Harry. Harry, tormented by guilt. It's all falling apart. Physical brawls, cruel insults, and disowned by family. Palace strikes back. How the royals are getting even. William, I will never speak to baby brother again. Now, I have absolutely... Oh, and by the way, down at the bottom, new evidence and Diana death cover-up. Now, I have no problem with that coverage, by the way, but that is much more negative than even the coverage from the British tabloids. And this is the magazine that he's now choosing to give his tell-all interviews to. It's bizarre.
Let's be real. Meghan is prioritizing her brand, her career, her future. So why is Harry out here doing damage control for their marriage? Angela Levin calls it like it is. Harry isn't defending their marriage, he's doing PR for Meghan. And honestly, it's embarrassing. Harry even says Meghan's Instagram shout-out was very sweet and much appreciated. What? Are we seriously at the point where Harry is thanking his wife for posting about him on social media? This is so obvious. Meghan is doing her own thing and Harry is left picking up the pieces. And he doesn't even realize it.
He's got no choice, you see. That's what it is, isn't it? I mean, if he wanted to go to, the Telegraph, for example, or, be interviewed by the Mail or anything like that, and to give his story and how hard his life has been, they would jump to it. But he doesn't want that. He wants people to feel sorry for him now. And he has to go to a magazine that did use that awful language and blaming everybody else. And they do exactly what Harry wants. And this is exactly what Harry wants, to say, how happy he was that how she behaved after Invictus Games. In 2016, he says she's loved that since then. But actually, she didn't get involved with it for a couple of years. You can't just get a girlfriend and then put her in charge of Invictus Games. And now she is in charge because she gives the speeches and all that. But then we don't see really the people who've been who aren't well anymore, mentally or physically, and they've got very, very cross about that. But he's just trying to keep up the pretense because that's what she wants. Then she kisses him and then she pushes him away. I mean, what is that? I can't imagine a man accepting that all the time. Push, you must move out the way. Yeah.
And then, so I've just been going through some of these other covers, Angela. I just want to prove that Harry is a hypocrite, right? That he is a hypocrite.
Well, he is. He's done that with that already.
Time and again. Us Weekly. Lonely Harry's private hell. Trapped by Meghan. No real friends and Queen won't forgive him. Regret at giving up $88 billion royal fortune. How it all went wrong. Again, I totally agree with this cover, Angela. However, it is so hypocritical of him for now sitting down with this publication. Why does he not take action again? Us Weekly. Another one, quite recent, this one actually. Harry and William torn apart by jealousy after years of built-up resentment. So the point is, Harry is a hypocrite. He will speak to anyone who he thinks is going to parrot his lies. That's what it is about, and I say shame on him for that. Now, Angela, I also wanted to ask you about this really fascinating interview this week from the owner of the luxury LA lifestyle brand. It's called Flamingo Estate. Because
I thought it was a book, sort of where there'd be a load of houses going up and down. I was never heard of them before.
No, I mean, it's very big in, I have to admit, I hadn't heard of it either, but it's very, very big in the whole celebrity circuit in Montecito. And it's very, very clear that this was a brand that Meghan wanted to ape, because she actually tried to buy in to the brand
Yes.
Flamingo Estate, and she held talks with them, multiple meetings in 2022, wanted to come on board as an active partner. There were financial negotiations. Apparently it actually went so far, Angela, that she was given access to Flamingo Estate's financial information, which one insider described to the Daily Mail as an intimate knowledge of the business. Now, all of a sudden, as ever, seems to be copying almost identically Flamingo Estate. The gay owner, Christensen, who used to be friends with Meghan, or he claims that he is still friends with Meghan, was asked by the Daily Mail whether he felt that she was copying.
If your marriage is fine, you don't need to give an interview to US Weekly to say it's fine. The fact that he even did this says everything. So here's the big picture. Harry and Meghan are desperate to control the narrative. But instead of making things better, this interview just made things worse. I mean, real celebrities don't even do these interviews anymore. This is the kind of thing washed-up reality stars do to stay relevant. And let's be honest, this is not helping their image. Every time they try to control the story, it just backfires. Angela Levin says Hollywood and the public have moved on. The only ones who haven't? Harry and Meghan. They just can't let it go.
And he said, no, I don't. I wouldn't be here today if I didn't draw inspiration from Martha Stewart and all the people who've done this before. So I welcome everyone to copy us. So he effectively is accusing her of copying them. What did you make of it?
He said, had he given Meghan any tips? I gave all my friends tips, he said. But I looked at some of the cost of things there, and an ordinary honey is $46, vinegar $32, a candle is $60, and olive oil is $52. Now that's really expensive, isn't it? But she wants to go into that high grade, and see that that's where people would pay that much if she gets it right. But it's very annoying. It must be very annoying if you have somebody who comes along fascinated by the way you organize yourself. Ask very politely if you can see it, and you go around and you see it and you say, maybe I could become an active partner. And they say, well, that would be very nice, Meghan. Da, 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 da. And then when she's got enough, it's the same as chucking a friend, isn't it? When she's got enough, she drops them and thinks she's got it all ready that she can use for herself. And I think that, he's very polite, but I think you must feel that that's not a very nice thing to do, because the competition might be quite difficult, and she might charge things that should be much cheaper. So I think it's not a very nice thing. And the thing I just hadn't mentioned before was about Pamela Anderson, whose show Cooking with Love, released on October 2024. Well, they complained that she'd taken very similar things from her. Her supporters have said, which actually made me laugh, that it's all just coincidental. But what I think is that both women are using the identical wicker basket as they go around collecting things in the garden. And I thought, well, you could have anything, one or two things that could be coincidental. But if you've got the same bag, case, box as the other person, to go quickly around the garden is nonsense. And also to clap hands with somebody up like that, and you're both doing that, it is that you're just copying things like mad. None of that can be coincidental. That it wouldn't be.
And Angela, we had yesterday Harry making another appearance in Los Angeles. This one was at the Upfront Summit. It was apparently a surprise appearance, although there was a massive sign up saying Prince Harry. And he reeled out his usual shtick, sort of very subtle digs at President Trump, not surprisingly, of course. But let's just have a little listen to what he said on stage.
So here's the big question. Is this Harry's most embarrassing PR stunt yet? Because at this point he's not just defending Meghan, he's doing her PR work for her. Meanwhile, his reputation keeps sinking. The royals don't want him back, Hollywood doesn't care, and now? He's just Meghan's personal PR assistant. And the worst part? People are laughing at him. This isn't the Harry we used to know. This is a broken man who has no idea what's happening around him.
So it's just the same old shtick, Angela. I just feel like every speech is the same. He lectures us. I mean, according to Taz, wrote about this. We can look at this, Angela. All Harry's speeches sound the same. Boring, condescending, and monotonous. He sounds like one of those annoying timeshare salesmen or someone trying to flog snake oil. It's clear he's there to pick up the paycheck for whatever thing he's trying to sell or promote. And I mean, I guess you could argue it's sad to see, but I actually just find it really annoying now listening to him drone
It annoys
on.
me that he's, he says he's a dad. He's always sort of saying that, but he's not often around at home, and he doesn't give them a normal life where they see other members of their family. That worries me enormously that they only see one, Meghan's mother. But it's just, I don't think that's healthy to do that. And then he says, I'm a man and I know what it is for service. I must do service. Well, he doesn't do service anymore. He's no longer a royal. So that's nothing. Why doesn't he just leave that now? He's not expected to do that. And he gives himself a character that is no longer exists, and he can't seem to go anywhere else and collect another one or be as he is now. But just to say that the challenges is a man who has to do service, he doesn't. He's not in the army anymore. He's not responsible for anything anymore. He does the occasional visit, but that's not really what he's doing. And if he doesn't want to, he doesn't have to do it. He's no longer in the royal family. He no longer has to do these things, but he hangs on to them, sort of like a man on the top of a mountain, and he's hanging on to the edge.
Honestly, Angela, I'm just looking at some of what he said right later on in that speech. This is honestly like insane gobbledygook. Listen to this. Because before I moved, so much of my life revolved around charity. Since then, while my charities remain a core part of my life's work, I've also been focusing on upstream solutions and prevention, driven by decisions and investments that address problems before they require fixing. Still, I've approached everything in my life through the lens of service. I'm not one to be caught in the divide between left or right views, not cornered by a belief in red or blue. Hell, I've never even been allowed to vote. I mean, what a liar, number one. He quite clearly endorsed Joe Biden before the 2020 election. He's been donating money to Biden's daughter and other Democratic operatives. So this is an attempt to curry favor with Trump. It's not going to work. But I think what most shocked me there is just like, what's he talking about? I've been focusing on upstream solutions and prevention driven by decisions and investments that address problems before they require fixing. You are talking nonsense, Harry. You're not even making any sense anymore. He's lost it.
But actually, he had social media, which he was very keen on, and he absolutely was trying to get rid of that. And that was a big thing. And he was trying to get rid of the press. That was another big thing. But he's given it all up because it doesn't make any sense now. So how can he say that? And it's just a gobbledygook, putting a few words together and not actually making a sentence.
All right, folks, that's it for today's reaction. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and let's get the conversation going. Do you think Harry and Meghan's marriage is really in trouble? Or is this all just media hype? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.